Today, we are off to Scotland to check out one of the most famous castles in the entire world. High above the city of Edinburgh, perched on an ancient volcanic rock, stands one of Scotland's most iconic landmarks, Edinburgh Castle. By day, it is a proud symbol of history and heritage, drawing millions of visitors each year. But when the sun sets and shadows stretch across its towering walls, the castle reveals another side, one steeped in mystery, legend, and ghostly tales that have lingered for centuries. For over 1,000 years, this fortress has witnessed battles, sieges, royal intrigues, and countless lives lost within its walls. With so much history carved into every stone, it is no wonder many believe the spirits of the past still walk the halls of Edinburgh Castle. Now, before we get started, if you like stories like this, please consider giving me a like and subscribing for more. Now let's begin. One of the most famous legends is that of the Phantom Drummer. The story goes back to the 17th century when Scotland was in turmoil following the execution of King Charles I in 1649 by the English parliamentarians. His son, Charles II, known as the Two-Faced Monarch, switched sides, first supporting the parliamentarians against his own father's memory and then later becoming a supporter of the royalists. He kept changing sides depending on which one suited him best. During this time of upheaval, Edinburgh Castle was a stronghold for the royalists. Then in 1650, it found itself under siege by the forces of Oliver Cromwell. Legend says that as the tension built and the defenders prepared to fight, the sound of a drum echoed through the castle grounds. It was a steady beat, strong and unwavering, as if calling for courage and unity among the royalist troops. But there was no living drummer to be seen. Some claimed the ghost of a young soldier who died in the previous siege in 1648 was drumming to warn his comrades of the impending danger. Others said it was the spirit of an old Scottish warrior come to rally his countrymen. The apparition drummed on night after night, inspiring the defenders with renewed vigor and strength. However, the castle fell and the royalists inside surrendered. The legendary drummer was never seen again, but his spectral drumming continued to echo in the hearts and minds of the Scottish people, a symbol of courage in the face of overwhelming odds. Fast forward to 1824 when the castle came under the care of the British military. A Captain Beatson was conducting a routine inspection when he heard the very same sound, a single drum beating steadily in the middle of the night. Startled, he rushed to investigate, but found no one. As the years passed, reports of the phantom drummer grew. Visitors and staff alike claimed to hear the ghost of the young soldier drumming his message of courage and warning, urging them to prepare for the coming battle. Some have even reported seeing the translucent figure of the drummer in the distance, marching back and forth along the ramparts. To this day, his spectral presence serves as a reminder of the castle's rich history and the sacrifices made by those who defended it. Whether a figment of the imagination or a lingering spirit, the story of the Phantom Drummer continues to captivate visitors to Edinburgh Castle. Another chilling tale is that of the Lone Piper. The story dates back to the 19th century when Scotland was experiencing a period of political unrest and rebellion. During this time, Edinburgh Castle was a strategic military fortress and a place of great significance. Rumors spread of secret tunnels existing underneath the castle, extending deep into the ground and connecting to various parts of the city. These tunnels were believed to have been used by prisoners to escape or by rebel groups to move around undetected. Authorities became suspicious that anti-government rebels were planning to use these tunnels to secretly enter the castle and cause havoc. They decided to send in a group of soldiers to search for any signs of the tunnels and to flush out any potential threats. Among them was a young bagpiper whose haunting tune echoed through the dark and dank chambers. He walked cautiously, his eyes scanning the walls, his ears attuned to any sound of danger. Suddenly, his foot hit a loose stone and it tumbled into the darkness below. Startled by the noise, he leaned over the edge to look down, but the opening was too small to see anything. Concerned that it might lead to one of the rumored tunnels, he climbed down intending to investigate. But as he descended into the blackness, his lantern flickered and died, leaving him in total darkness. Frantic, he called out for help, but his voice echoed unanswered in the oppressive silence. He began to feel his way around, his hands touching cold, damp stones, but the passage seemed endless, offering no way out. And then, just as abruptly as it had begun, the tunnel opened up into a large cavern. Gasping for breath, he emerged into a dim light and found himself in a vast underground chamber. In the flickering glow, he saw other soldiers standing motionless, their faces pale and drawn. And then he realized they, like him, were trapped in the labyrinth beneath the castle. With no way out, the piper turned to leave, retracing his steps along the tunnel, but it had vanished. Panic seized him as he understood he was lost in a subterranean maze with no hope of escape. As the hours passed, his fear grew. He wandered through the dark, calling out, but his cries were swallowed by the oppressive silence. Eventually, exhausted and terrified, he collapsed onto the cold stone floor, his body slowly succumbing to the darkness. And so the young piper perished in the tunnels beneath Edinburgh Castle, his fate unknown to all but the shadows that danced in the flickering lamplight. Some believe his ghost still wanders the castle grounds, forever searching for a way out of the tunnels that claimed him as his own. Edinburgh Castle also served as a prison during times of war. In the dungeons, captured soldiers from France, America, and other nations were once held. Many endured harsh conditions, and some never made it out alive. Among them was a young French soldier named Jean, who found himself imprisoned in the dark and dank dungeon cells. He missed the sunshine, the laughter of children, and the familiar streets of his homeland. As the days passed, his spirits sank. His cell was cold and damp, and the smell of stale waste filled the air. The only sound was the drip, drip, drip of water echoing in the oppressive silence. Slowly, he grew weaker. His clothes, torn and dirty, offered little protection against the cold, and his once hardy frame wasted away. One day, the guards came for him. He knew what that meant. He was to be executed. They dragged him out of his cell and down a dark corridor. Then they pushed him into a large chamber. He looked up and saw a noose hanging from the ceiling. Without a word, they pushed him toward it. Fear flooded him as he realized this was the end. He struggled against the guards, but their grip was firm. He closed his eyes and waited for the end. That day, the young Frenchman was hanged in the shadow of Edinburgh Castle, his life cut short by the grim hand of war. Now, visitors report feeling a cold spot in the dungeons, as if a chill wind blows through the ancient stones. Some have even claimed to see the ghost of Jean, his eyes filled with sadness and despair, forever reliving his final moments in the shadow of Edinburgh Castle. And then, there is a quieter but equally mysterious corner of the castle, the dog cemetery. Tucked away near the battlements is a small patch of ground where the loyal dogs of soldiers were laid to rest. The headstones are simple, marking the final resting places of creatures who gave their lives alongside their human companions. Over the years, the cemetery has become a place of remembrance and respect for these brave animals. But some believe their spirits remain. On quiet evenings, visitors have reported hearing the faint sound of barking echoing across the cemetery. They also speak of shadowy figures darting between the headstones, just at the edge of their vision. Could these be the ghosts of the brave dogs who once defended the castle alongside their human counterparts? The idea is certainly a haunting one. So, what makes Edinburgh Castle so unique? Perhaps it is the sheer weight of history, centuries of battles, triumphs, and tragedies echoing through the stone walls. Or perhaps there truly are echoes of the past that refuse to fade. What cannot be denied is the castle's power to stir the imagination. Tourists continue to share stories of strange sounds, sudden chills, and fleeting glimpses of figures that vanish in the blink of an eye. Is Edinburgh Castle truly haunted? Or are these tales simply legends passed down through generations, fueled by the atmosphere of one of Scotland's oldest fortresses? The answer may never be clear, but one thing is certain. When night falls over Edinburgh and the wind whistles across the castle walls, it's easy to believe that something or someone still lingers within. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave me a like. Thanks. Bye.